Hey, what is going on, guys? Back with another video. If you can see here, I've got the tracker put together mostly, and I have it taped off. So I'm going to give plasti-dip another shot. If you saw my last video, and I'll put a link to it up there and down in the description, I did the F-150. It went decent, but it did not go perfectly, and I never got a chance to peel that either, which still kind of haunts me. So yeah, just something I wanted to be able to do, and so I wanted to give it another shot with the Geo Tracker. It is a lot smaller of a vehicle, so it should be a little bit easier to work with. Even though it is smaller, it actually took me longer to do the prepping, and that's just because I took a bit more time than I did last time with the truck. With the truck, you know, I had the rubber around the windows just like this, and I had rubber seals up here that were exposed, and I just tried to tape along those lines perfectly. So this time I, pulled all those rubber off of there wherever I could. Back here, pulled that rubber seal off. That way I'm not taping up to trying to have to make as many perfect lines and having to do like a white rip off while it's wet. There's a couple of spots where I will have to rip off stuff when it's wet, but hopefully it goes smoother this time, because I did rip it in a couple of places last time. But overall, I just took a lot more time with the prepping, kind of thinking through where I could make things easier for pulling stuff off. Where the first time around I was like, oh, just tape everything and pull it, it'll be good to go. I think this time it's going to be a little bit smoother. And then also last time I did have those like tiger stripes on the hood, so hopefully I can avoid that this time and it will turn out good. So I got everything taped off, wiped everything down, and I'm going to go ahead and start spraying. I won't bore you with all the details. I said I already have another video showing the spray process, and if you want more in-depth tutorial type thing, I would highly recommend going over to the DYC channel, the Dip Your Car channel. Fonzie over there has a ton of great tutorials that will get you a lot better results than following my instructions probably will. So with that, I'm going to go ahead, get things prepped. I'm going to put the first coat on, which is this Avalanche Gray, which is the base coat. So 2 cans of this will probably be about, I would say 3, maybe 4 coats on this small little vehicle. So I'll get started spraying that, and I will check in with you once we got a coat or 2 down and see how this goes. Another thing I'm attempting, I'm going to keep the garage door closed. I do have this door open because I need some type of ventilation. So hopefully, a little bit better environment for testing everything out. And we'll see if we can get some better results this time. I'm still happy with the results I had last time. My father-in-law, he wanted to keep the plasti-dip on there after I did it, after I gave him the car. So, I mean, it's not bad, but it definitely could have been better. So, hopefully, this will do it. So, I got first coat down, and it's a thin coat of the gray. Now, the hardest part of this whole process comes, I have to wait. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the garage because it is stinky. Let that fan blow some of these fumes out of here. Let that dry for about 15 minutes, and then come back with a nice full thicker coat, and we'll go from there. All right, so here we are. We have ended up being about 3.5 coats. That first coat's kind of like a half a coat, and then 3 more full coats after that of just the gray, which is the base coat. And yeah, I said the same thing with the F-150. I kind of like just that gray color that they have for the base coat. But there it is, all sprayed down. Going on pretty well. I did have a couple of runs and a couple of spots, but overall going pretty smoothly from what I could tell so far. Ready to get started with the color. So I have 2 gallons of that, so probably be 3 heavy coats of this, which it is called, what is the color? A Flex Blue. It's not a metallic like the green that I did on the truck was. It's just a solid blue color. Yeah, that is definitely blue. That is bright blue, like Cookie Monster blue, I guess I would call. So maybe we'll have to name the tracker Cookie Monster just because of that color. Yes, that is very blue. I'm gonna go ahead, get started spraying some coats of this down, and we'll see what it looks like. If you are curious to whether or not you should use a respirator when you're spraying plasti-dip, I think this fan should give you an idea of yes. Because I just had that blowing as an exhaust while I was spraying, and the entire thing is blue, so that probably would not look good in your lungs. Now I am all done spraying the plasti-dip, but before we show off the car, I did want to do one more thing first, and that is I have some more Raptor liner here. This is a 2-part kit, so you get the liner and you get the hardener, and then you just have to fill up, pour enough hardener into where it's up to this line. I've seen some kits with a measuring cup. This didn't come with it. I don't have one, but all you need to do is fill it up to that line. I don't know if you can see in there or not. But the kit comes with 4 of these bottles, 1 of these, so just a 1/4 of that each time. Put the lid on and then shake the crap out of this. Now the outside's still going to be incomplete. I'm still waiting on bumpers, but the bumpers are probably going to get this same treatment. But what I am going to spray is the grill, or you see somebody had painted it black at one point. Not very well. Sanded that down a bit, smoothed it out, got rid of any of the flaking paint. And I'm going to Raptor liner that, as well as the spare tire carrier. I'm going to Raptor line that as well. And then, like I said, whenever I do get the bumpers in, those will probably also be Raptor lined. All right, now that we are all shaken up, just grab the gun, screw the tube in here, and then the whole thing just screws onto your bottle of Raptor liner. And you will need an air line. I'm using, I think it was about a 40 psi that I was spraying. So I have it set on the machine, and then also here. I think I turned it up when I was spraying, so yeah, definitely want to turn that down a bit. Yes, let's turn this down. I said it's around 40, maybe a little, we'll do a little over 40 here on the tank. A little over 40 there, closer to 50. And then it's just spray. This stuff sprays super thick. It is nothing like the bed liner spray cans. That stuff is, after using this, I thought that stuff was pretty cool, but after using this, it's not nowhere close to being in the same ballpark. But you just spray it out, and you see It sprays out in big thick chunks. Alright guys, all finished up with the painting, putting everything together. Well, at least for what parts I do have. I think it turned out looking pretty awesome. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I think the colors came out really good. The plasti-dip job came out much better than it did on the truck. Still not perfect, but you know, second time it came out a lot better than the first time, I think. But I could be biased. But anyway, here's a look at it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. So it is definitely blue. I said I just did the Raptor liner on the grill. Left the black stripes on there. Obviously the black interior is all black now. I do need some black rims. But I'll figure that out once I get this lifted, so I see exactly how much clearance I have, how much room I have to work with in there, and then we'll take care of getting some new wheels and tires. But yeah, it is definitely blue. It's much more blue than I thought it was going to be, but I actually like it quite a bit. One thing, you may notice a difference. This side, the mirror is black, which I think looks better. I did originally paint them both. This one's still blue, that one's black, so it's a little off-putting there. So while I got you here, let's take a quick look at how this stuff peels off. I mean, this piece is great because it's already got good ledges on it, good edges all the way around, so everything should peel off. Tricky part, I mean, as far as being scratch resistant, it's pretty good. So just got to get it started. Once you get it started, as long as you sprayed it on thick enough. You see the other side where it was the gray undercoat. When I was a kid, I remember a stupid show, or it was a movie called Johnny Dangerously. It was like a spoof movie about mobster movies. And they were driving in a getaway car, and as they're driving away, they peeled off wallpaper off their car, and it changed from like a black car to a zebra striped car to all kinds of things. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. Now in here is going to be a little tricky because probably did not spray in there thick enough. We will see though. But anywhere there's a sharp edge, it just comes off perfectly like that. The only time it is a pain to peel is if it's too thin. Like in here, oh, I don't even know if you can see what I was talking about. Like in here, where it's not super thick, that's not just going to peel off. I have to kind of get in there and rub it off. For the most part, comes off nice and easy. I have to go through, clean up a bit more. Get those little edges. There's a couple of little edges like right here that I still need to clean up, but overall most of it just came right off. Like, but Like this and this, I just painted the whole thing. I didn't even bother taping those off, and I just peeled it off of those areas once I was done, which was easier than trying to get perfect tape lines and then pulling the tape off and then still having little things like that and having to pull that off and maybe having the tape stick to it. I thought it was just easier just to go ahead and paint them, since there was a nice clean edge. It just peeled right off. There was no connection to the body panel, and it just came off nice and neat. So anyway, I know I am rambling now. It came out, I think, looks great. Obviously need to do something, because now this pink car seat doesn't match too well, and I still have to put the interior together. I think it's coming together all right. Still, once I get all the rest of the parts in, we can get everything finished, put together. I'm going to work on getting the interior pieces that I do have, get everything put back in there so it's ready to rock and roll. I do appreciate you taking time to watch the video. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate that. I thank you in advance for hitting that like button. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.